Hello, and welcome to ShePak Unleashed. I'm one of your hosts, Tania.
I'm Nichole. Welcome to your weekly dose of candid discussion and the pursuit of finding your tribe in this journey of motherhood, womanhood, and sisterhood.
I'm Ashley. Join us as we leave no stone unturned. In each episode, we have heart-to-heart conversations that aim to challenge and empower.
I don't remember what
All
I'm
right, so
saying
we're
now.
talking about how the show must go on, Jenny. How much does the show go on?
Yeah, I think often when we get together, we spend a good bit of time talking about just the chaos of everyday life and all the unpredictable moments that happen, whether it's sick kids or lost pets or a parent with a medical emergency or a car won't start, the Wi-Fi's down, and how we have to kind of pivot through that. And I feel like we really support each other. And we've had so many experiences where things have gone wrong.
And so many of them are Nicole's.
I was going to say,
Yes, our queen of pivot.
Queen of plot twists.
I am going to declare myself the queen of pivoting and plot twisting.
I agree.
I love it. We learn a lot from you too, observing it.
But I also feel like sometimes there is a moment, like if you're physically unwell, where like you do, they're like, yes, I think especially as moms, we often push through, but I don't know. Sometimes you have to know when to stop.
I also think it's a good teaching tool for my kids and resilience and flexibility whenever, for example, this summer, my kids get to pick between a birthday party and a trip for their birthdays. So my littlest picked a trip and he wanted to go to New Hampshire. I have no idea where he came up with New Hampshire, but he was like, we're going to New Hampshire.
Excellent.
And it must be from like a Hallmark movie. Well,
we have a map on our wall of all the places we've been with photos in them and the places we aren't having as empty. So he like looks at the empty ones and picks an empty one. And
okay.
For some reason, New Hampshire was the choice. And it's only for a weekend. So I was like, great, we're going to go to New Hampshire. And we took this new airline.
Mm-hmm. New to us, new to our airport.
It's actually like a year old.
Mm-hmm. The whole airline?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It's a new airline. Highly do not recommend.
You're still working out the kinks?
I don't think there are kinks to work out. I think this is just the service level. It was a budget airline. I'm going to shout it out. It was a
Velo, yeah.
It makes me think of my first car, a Veo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was also kind of a shitty thing. So like I should have known.
They're very sky bus.
When the flights go, they are often direct to a different city than you normally have choices for and really reasonable, but often they don't and they're smaller.
That's like a 3-hour flight.
I am aware.
Well, I'm glad you got on a flight, but it didn't.
But you never got on a flight,
did it?
Okay, so plot twist. You guys are hearing the story live for the first time. Okay, so the flight was supposed to leave at 7 a.m. direct from Raleigh to New Hampshire. It was the only one that was going directly to New Hampshire. Okay, I was like, great, this is perfect. We'll go here. We usually go with our sturdy Southwest, and I was all for it, but it was a connecting flight, and my husband is very particular about connecting flights. He hates going south to go north. It makes him very angry, so we weren't going to do that.
Me too.
Fair.
Same.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't care. Just take me where we're going. So I booked his flight. It's at 7 a.m. He also doesn't love that, but it was that or a 8-hour flight. So two and a half hour flight. It was going to be great. Have to be there. Flight leaves at 7, so we had to be there at like 6. And so it means we had to leave here at like 5, right? At the house. Mm-hmm. So up early, out the door, we get there. Flight gets delayed. First
Was
thing.
the plane there?
The plane there came, let people off at 7 a.m. And they were like, there's a little issue. We need to solve the mechanical plane issue. Okay, great. We'll fix the plane. I certainly don't want to go on it.
They're buying like used planes for their new business?
I'm pretty sure.
No.
No, yes.
Okay.
Like torn seats, like the whole, like when I tell you the whole shebang.
Oh.
So the flight wasn't going 7 o'clock. It was delayed to like 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, fine. We'll still get there like noonish. It'll be great. Then it was delayed to 12 o'clock. was like, we're not getting out. And then I'm up there talking to the guy and he's like, the part's on its way.
It's only a weekend.
Right. And it's only a weekend.
Now you've lost nearly a day at that point.
Right. We lost a whole day. So like, he was basically like, if it goes out, it's not going out until 6. And I was like, if. So then.
What are you supposed to do at an airport with 2 young kids?
Well, thank God for switches. Because we had those going. But
Electronics.
so then I'm just pulling up the Google Flights. And I look and I see what is leaving. Like you can search on Google Flights, where is direct from your airport today? And I said to Cole, you have 2 choices. We can go to New York or we can go to Boston.
That's like in that direction.
And on the same airline.
No.
Oh.
No, we're not even on the same airline,
No,
lady.
no.
We
Well, they
are-
couldn't even fly the first flight. She wasn't going to book a second flight on the same
Yeah, I
airline.
wouldn't
There's not
trust
even
that.
another one. There's not even another flight on that airline. There's nowhere that airline is going.
Okay.
Okay. I was like, which one? He picked Boston. Okay. So then we're on one side of the airport and I am buying a ticket for Delta which Delta just had a whole thing. So I was like, who knows if this one's going out because they just had a whole shebang this summer with like what was it? The like hacking thing?
Yep.
Yeah, the
The
crowd
system's
strike
down.
stuff went
the
down.
CrowdStrike stuff. So, but it's on the opposite side of the airport. So we have to get rid of all of our food and drink we had in the airport, bought.
And go to the other
Go
terminal.
to the other terminal,
That's right.
go through security again.
No,
and-
you didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
babe, this flight was leaving in like 30 minutes. We are like
Haul ass.
hauling ass across
Wow.
the damn security plane. Like, across the airport through security.
I'm picturing that scene in like Home Alone where they're running.
I sent a message to the Airbnb host. So sorry, our flight's not getting out. Will you please cancel me? Like, I know it's a no cancellation fee, but here's my situation. Will you cancel it for me? As I'm booking another Airbnb in Boston, like I may be paying for 2 Airbnbs at this point. I don't know. So I'm doing that, got that switch. We're trying to get the car rental switched from New Hampshire to
just to like the different airport.
Boston. But the caveat is I only bought one-way tickets to Boston. Okay? Because our flight out was still in New Hampshire.
Were you planning a drive or something?
Yeah. And we were just going to drive back over to, it's only an hour.
Yeah, that's
from
not too
Boston.
bad. That's not that
I
far.
was like, we'll just drive back from New Hampshire. We'll drive from Boston to New Hampshire. But the problem is our Airbnb from the New Hampshire airport was another 2 hours north.
Oh,
So that's why I wasn't
there.
going to go to Boston, then drive
Yeah.
3.5 hours to our destination. We already lost half a day. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
we're
makes
just going to stay in
sense.
Boston and then we'll fly back out on our flights that we already have booked. So the car rental place will not let us do a one-way rental
That's weird.
because of the CrowdStrike stuff. There's not enough cars. The
Oh.
systems are all messed up. We can't take a car from Logan to Manchester Airport. You can only bring it one way or the other. So like they would not let us rent
That's
the
annoying.
car. So then we don't have a car. So we're in Boston. I'm like, it's fine. We don't have a car. No big deal. My in-laws live in Rhode Island and they were coming to visit us while we were going to be in New Hampshire. So instead they're coming to Boston. And I was like, they're coming to Boston. Just ask your mom if they can take us to the airport in Manchester. They couldn't. So we took an Uber.
Couldn't or wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's a conversation for another day.
Debatable. But there wasn't be enough room in the one car they were going to take.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And car seats.
well,
Your boys
I
are
have,
big
little,
enough
like,
now.
I
Yeah.
have blow up boosters, which are in our suitcase.
Okay.
But even still, you need like 6 butts then if it's both his parents
Yeah.
and the 4 of you.
One is brother.
So that's a big
Yeah.
car you need. Yeah.
So not enough seats for the one car. Okay. So we just Ubered from Boston to the airport back. We took the Avello flight back.
I was about to be
you
like, how
did?
do you know about the rip seats?
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Okay.
Because we went because the flight to Boston from Delta on the last minute was very expensive.
yeah. The
Yes,
last
you're going
minute,
through
I bet.
all of this, and my pivot would have been, well, guess we're going a different weekend. Like I would have figured it all out a different weekend. The fact that you like just did all
I
of
would have
this
just gone home.
on the fly, like
Yeah.
here we go. We're going to a new city. Like, I just would have been like, oh, that really stinks. Like, we'll figure it out a different time.
Interesting. I think I would have priced it out, and that would have been like my deciding factor.
to price it out.
I did. I had 30 minutes.
But not enough time.
No, that's enough for me to look at and be like, is there a comma in this? Like, what's the first digit? And I can just kind of gut feeling
Oh, I like
decide.
signing up for the Delta American Express credit card.
No,
to
you
get-
didn't.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
As I'm
that's a
booking
great
it,
idea.
I'm signing up for the Delta American
At least you're going to get your
Express
30,000 miles or whatever
credit
out of
card
it. Hell
to
yeah.
get
Your reaction of that's a great idea and my reaction of that's insane.
Yeah, we have very different ends of the spectrum.
I think I have done this. I
is
got
stressful.
a credit card in an airport once
Literally,
too.
he's on the phone with the car place. I'm on the phone with the Airbnb place. Like, we're literally, as we're going through security to the other side of the airport.
And your children, how did they do?
They're just rolling.
They're just playing Switch. Like
just
we're
playing
getting on a different
Switch.
plane. We're going to the other side of the airport.
Yep.
It's part of the adventure to them.
Yeah, I think the thing is that this is not the first.
Yeah, the
No.
frequency with which your travel plans get interrupted like
So
this is
But not with us. It's only when
high.
Steve is there.
this is the norm to them.
Yeah,
Like
they're-
this is not unusual.
Listen, I'm going to have resilient, pivotal kids.
Totally.
So we had a great time in Boston. We went whale watching.
Did you?
And
Did you
we
see
saw
whales
humpback
too?
Whales.
That's so cool.
And did the duck tour and like did the whole thing. We had a great time, right? We took public transportation everywhere on the T, like without a car.
That's
so it was
great.
fine. Like no big deal. We had a great weekend.
Public transportation is a good experience for the kids
Yeah,
too.
they did
For
it
sure.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
when we went there, but this was
Just can't. Like I just can't. I just can't.
so we just pivoted.
I just can't. Like
You can, you could.
I had a hard enough time when like a cruise ship is like, sorry, we're an hour late to the port, or like, sorry, we're not going to this port, we're going to that port. You have to change. Like, no, thank you. You can't
Just
move a
going
cruise
somewhere
ship.
different.
Yeah, they do that a lot. I've learned.
Yeah, because they go around weather and.
Because when we
stuff
booked
and
our
things.
Alaska cruise, I had it like researched to the T, like picked exactly the itinerary I wanted, picked exactly like pre-booked everything and the train and everything. And then I get an email like a month before, like, sorry, there's like a boulder about to fall on the pier at any second. So we're not going to stop there. We're going to stop it because get you gone. And I'm like,
Can you? What was that? What was
could
that
you
again?
get catch a can? I think it is.
Ketchikan.
Catch a
Ketchikan.
can.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And
Give you a whole month.
still very upset. And then I did all this research and I rebooked it. And then they were like, just kidding. Now we're going to, I don't remember, but it changed multiple times. And then when we got there, we were like late coming into Juneau. And then our sled dog thing wasn't going to happen because we were late. And I was like, absolutely the fuck not. Like we ended up on the pier and all these like people from Royal Caribbean are like upset because the sled dog guy is like, sorry, like there's only so many sled dogs. Like you missed your time. We were booked the rest of the day. And I like stalked him down the pier, like away from everyone else. And like, I don't know what I
Did you
did.
give him the Vegas money?
I didn't give him any money, but it was the same kind of moment that we had in Mexico when I yelled at the cabbie. Like I kind of blacked
My favorite.
I kind of blacked out. Like I don't exactly remember what I said. I wasn't yelling, but it was more of a sob story. And I was like, is there any way you could, there's just like 3.5 of us. And then like 10.
3.5.
Oh my God.
I was like, Luna can sit in my lap. It's totally fine. Like this is the only thing my kid wants. And at the same time, I was like talking to another person who was doing the helicopter rides. I was like, I don't care how much it costs. Do you have someone that didn't show? Like, let me know. Like I was like working the pier because I didn't want to go like hike. Like I told my kids there would be puppies. And then like 10 minutes later, he like flagged me over and he was like, don't ask, don't tell, meet me down at the bathroom in 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So shady.
I had puppies and candies in my van.
But meanwhile, like Beto's handling the kids. Everyone's
adults
yelling.
do,
Everyone's yelling at the Royal Caribbean person.
Aww.
They
Poor
handled it
staff.
as best they could. And then like he gave the signal and I like marched off and you could see a couple of the other like wives
Watching
like
you.
being like, what? And I was just
yeah.
like, Beto, the bathroom's over here. Bring them now, right now to the
Are
bathroom.
you yelling in Spanish the whole time?
No, it was
too?
English,
Oh, it's a
but they
bummer.
were like, what'd she do? Because I didn't even talk to the Royal Caribbean guy. We ended up getting on that sled dog ride.
So I'm hearing two different kinds of pivots. I'm hearing find a different way to do the same thing or right? And I'm hearing find a new way to do something similar.
Yeah, and I'm by no means like religious, right? But I am kismic. Is that the word?
You believe in
cosmic?
in kismet?
Karma?
Yeah, like I
What is
believe
I don't memories, had a
supposed to
great
have.
time.
Yeah.
You know, I've made comments to Ryan not too long ago. Like, we missed a light. We were literally just driving to school and we got a red light. And he was like getting all huffy in the back seat. I was like, baby, maybe it's a good thing we didn't like squeak through that yellow light. Like, maybe there's just a reason, right? And maybe, right, we don't want to take it to the extreme because I don't want him to just be envisioning the worst that could happen, right? But like, it's okay. Like, it's all right that one thing didn't happen. And maybe there's a reason, maybe there's not, but like, we're going to get there one way or the other, right?
Yeah. And that's how I feel about when everything kind of goes awry on any of my plans.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, so you guys have talked about two situations where like plans have gone awry, right? And the other way that life can totally throw you off course, of course, is illness, right? So that could be illness, it could be surgeries, which we've all endured and gone through, right? And our family has learned to pivot and work around it. One instance I am remembering, I think it was 3 years ago, literally 2 days before my son's birthday, my husband got COVID for the first time. So we hadn't dealt with it at all up to that point. And
right at the height of it. Like we were still very much at home.
so I think it was like a year into
okay.
COVID time. So it wasn't full lockdown, obviously. Like we had a party planned, but it was like, it was one of the first big events that we had planned again post, right? And it was his birthday and we were making a big deal of it. And my husband comes down with COVID, right? And so we have to cancel the party because I think we were having the party at our house and we were all exposed to him. So we didn't want to expose anyone else if we were positive and not symptomatic yet.
Right.
And so I will say my son handled it like a champ, right? Like he didn't lose it in any way, shape, or form. I then had 48 hours to figure out making or buying a cake. Or maybe it was like 24 hours. Like I had to make the cake. I had to wrap all the presents myself. We moved the party, our party of 3, to outside on our patio. And I like decorated the patio and brought all the presents down there. And then my husband went and sat like on the far end of the patio with a mask on because we didn't know. Like it was our first time dealing with it. And so we weren't taking any chances. But literally I had zero help with any of it, right? Because he was sequestered up in the guest room. I was doing all the things and my son wasn't really old, and I didn't want to make him do his own like birthday decorations and things like that. And then I think we like videoed in the grandparents maybe so that they could like be a part of it too. But it ended up being such a sweet little moment and it was really nice, but at least I was well, right? Like my husband was sick.
Yeah.
But I was well enough to pivot and like make the whole thing happen. But
And he still participated to the best that he could.
he did. He
Yeah.
did. But
So that
we, you know, we're getting ready. I was like, I know,
Core
buddy.
memory right there.
It really was.
Yeah.
But like he handled it so well. And like that's all you can
And
be thankful
typically
for.
he's not a great pivoter.
He can be.
Okay.
Right? I think the fact that he still got all the presents and like that probably helped soften the blow. And I like made a cake that like emulated a Switch because that was the year he got his Switch.
Oh, okay.
So it was a big year and like big present for him. So I guess that like smoothed it over, you know?
Yeah.
But I was just so impressed that he didn't lose his shit because like for a 7-year-old, I was concerned. I didn't know how that was going to go down.
That was so stressful for you though.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. But I will say I am so proud because I don't always pivot the best.
No.
Shocking.
I'm so shocked.
I think I pivot at
This is your
least a little
surprise
better than Tanya.
You both are not great pivoters.
I know, but like I don't think I'm last.
I think that is uncalled for. I think there are definitely times where we do.
It
And
depends
pivot
on what the
differently.
moment is.
Yeah,
It depends on the moment.
I feel like I have more anxiety about it, but like in an urgent
Yours
moment, I
shows
get
up
very like
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
you're
didn't mean to interrupt.
processing it
I can make
differently, it looks
impulsive
like.
decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can like decide to do something and go do it,
Yeah.
right? But then also I will get in my feels if
Yeah.
something I was really looking forward to
Of course.
gets interrupted and then I
course.
can't do it. Like I'll get
Yeah.
real grumpy about it.
I mean, I feel like it shows up differently. Like when you need to pivot, you antagonize pivot. Like,
How do you mean?
come out with like big sister poking when we have to pivot.
Yeah, I don't mean to.
I know.
It comes out as anger.
Yeah. And like,
And
Frustration.
anxiety.
but like it's at somebody usually.
You're not wrong.
Like it's not a like, all right, we're just gonna do it. It's like I can just think about when you wouldn't stop touching me in the fucking van.
Can we go through one
like we didn't know we'd be like
True.
the
Stuck all day,
expectations were different than what we had envisioned.
Yeah.
And even just having different expectations from what happens can be a moment of pivoting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and releasing what the expectations were.
Yeah.
To be okay with it.
You pivot fairly well.
I don't have a choice. So I have to like
Like, do any of us have a choice to pivot when we have to pivot?
There-
Yeah,
there's-
there's a choice. You can
there
collapse.
is. There is. And there's definitely
Which-
times that I want to collapse. and I
Nicole's like,
want
is
to
that
say,
an
like,
option?
What
I
option?
didn't know that was a thing that you
Just
could
so
do.
you are aware, at this point in your life, it is an option to just not keep going.
Sure. And
It's
my
not-
brain
it's not
calculates
always
the
the
cost
best
of that.
option.
Exactly.
Oh, so it's
my
like
brain
a financial, logical decision.
not even a financial thing, but like you were saying, you got to know your limit, right? So am I physically able to pivot, or is this one of those situations that I'm like, I'm gonna fuck it up no matter what, or can I do something, or I don't know, am I like PMSing and I can't tolerate the stress of doing it, and it's just gonna be not worth it? Like I have to make those in the moment decisions sometimes.
Like, do you have the spoons?
Yeah, it's a lot of that kind of thing. Do I even have the capacity to figure this out?
I can
or
make the spoons.
that's
Not
amazing.
how that works.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
That burnout piece, like that really matters because there's like a cost to it later,
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Could I do it? Sure. Will I be happy about it?
Is it worth it?
Yeah. And there's times that it's definitely worth it. There's times that it's just like, nah, like I'm
So
not.
was a time that was like not, and a time that it was.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
What about when you and Bob had that bad stomach bug at the same time? Like, what did you do?
Yeah,
Did you
that's the
just
only
collapse?
time that he and I have been like that ill at the same time. And Calvin was maybe one.
Oh my
Like, he
God.
would-
I think we had the same thing. Did we give it to you? Was it around Christmas?
I don't even remember. Like all I remember is I was puking all night, and so was Bob. So we were like back and forth in and out of the bathroom, taking turns, and he was still throwing up frequently. I had like a lull. So I'm like, I gotta get this kid to daycare because I cannot take care of him here. So like it was a decision in that moment of, could Calvin be sick and give it to someone else?
Definitely.
Or
I was gonna, yeah.
sure.
Germs.
But am I willing to accept that risk? Because what if we got it from him already, you know? So we're like, whatever, daycare's family now. We're all getting sick together. So we sent him, and his teacher like looked at me walking in. I was probably like gray because I had been puking so much. And she's like, you don't look well. I'm like, no,
What
I'm
daycare
not.
was this at?
It was at All Stars.
Yeah, we definitely gave that to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was way
We
back
find
then.
out 9 years later,
Like,
8 years
had
later.
it at 1-2. That was right after he got his tubes.
Oh,
And we had it
yeah.
at the same time, and it was like around the holiday season. And they went to the daycare together. I forgot they went to All Stars together.
You should not send your children to daycare sick.
Well, I hear you.
What are
I
your
hear you. Like
options here?
philosophically, I hear you, but this is exactly what are the options? I couldn't
He wasn't
function.
technically sick.
I couldn't take care of my child. I could not lean on my partner, and
And
like
you didn't have family around.
And the
And you
have
want,
no
at a
family
1-year-old, it's not like you can just put on a TV. Like you need active.
correct.
I hear you.
Correct. I needed to like hydrate, so I was still nursing at the time too. So like I had to just rest
when
and
you didn't
put
have
together.
any family
Correct.
nearby, like versus like when
And we
had
weren't
it.
quite as close then. Because like
Yeah.
now I feel like you could call me. In fact, one of my friends
I
did,
would. I
and
would
she-
say, here's a mask and Lysol. Please come like help. I would. But at the time, it's exactly it. I didn't have that kind of support. There was no family. Like we were on our own. So did we make a smart decision? I don't know. I don't
so
judge
many
us.
people would find themselves
And
in
you
that
have to make
situation
that
too.
decision a lot of times. And people
I was just thinking about, right? So having a infrastructure or a system or people that you can rely on in your life when things go to shit, right? When everything collapses.
When,
like,
not if.
Do you have people that you can call on, right? And there are lots of people who don't have family nearby or don't have a close friend network that they would feel comfortable enough asking for help when you're in a vulnerable position like that, right? And we've always been very fortunate. My parents live locally and they have always been our go-to, right? Like if we need babysitting, great. If, like when I had surgery, my parents would help out too. And I was just thinking recently, I had COVID a few months ago, right? And it became this thing where it would have been really nice to have Ryan go stay with them, right? And go hang out. And it was a decision I had to make in reverse where I was like, I cannot send my son to my parents' house for fear of getting them sick, right? And now
could you live with yourself?
Now it's like there are those times where it'll be the reverse of like, oh no, right? When I do normally have that support system, I can't use the support system. And illness is particularly,
well, and also,
it is
like thinking
the
about
driving
like as our
factor there.
parents are aging,
They're getting older.
how much longer can you truly like rely
it's not always a done deal. It's not always a
Right.
given.
Not to be morbid, but when the time comes, I got you. Got all the tips on how to survive without them.
It makes me think of COVID, like, because I remember when Beto had COVID and I didn't, and I can't remember how little Luna was, but she was maybe 1 or 2. And he like got to lock himself in the music room in the basement and like put the
Sounds
TV
like a
on.
baby
and I
free-
was 3 or 4 days where he just watched shows, got food delivered to his door because I was really
Was his not very severe?
No, he was relatively fine. And
you
then
were very nervous.
I was very nervous about him getting to the kids. And I think Cruz was like 5 and Luna was 1. And I was still working and I can't farm them out to my parents for the same reason. That was miserable.
Yeah.
And then by like Thursday of the week, then I got it. But I didn't get 3 days in the music room with TV.
Why didn't you?
Because then he was
Then
like,
it's already too late. It's
then
already
they
cut.
had it and he
kids
was,
had it
yeah. And
too.
they were like, we all have it.
So like, what does it matter?
So like, I just kept working. So yeah, I feel
Next time, get sick
You
first.
could have made the choice
Right.
to not work.
I was to say I was Beto.
The kids are hard to be like, no.
But were you Beto by choice or just because luck of the draw you got it first?
So I got it, and I was like, oh no.
Good to see you. Filled up my water bottle and I took my happy ass upstairs
I kind
to
of
the
actually
room.
liked having COVID.
And then,
I lucked out because
I
we
was
got
gonna
COVID.
say-
We all had it.
no, I was pretty miserable, right? So yeah, it's in our family now. Ryan still has not had it, at least
Yeah.
that you know of.
Yeah.
that we are aware of. Landon got it first, and like I was like running the high of like we got to get the party thing, and then I was really proud of myself. And again, we
depleted.
only have one kid, right? So we have that ability to like, we outnumber him still. And so it was, but I had the crash afterwards
Yes.
that I very much needed. And you obviously needed too, which, probably also why you got sick.
Yeah, you can do it too.
But then when I got sick, I was
couldn't,
like,
though.
oh, it's my turn.
It
and like
happened that way.
we had a TV out on the patio outside. I was like, Landon, that TV needs to like come into our bedroom, please, so that I can binge watch. Cause I did not feel well. Like it hit me
You knew your limit.
hardish. Did a TV in the room for that time that I was in there. What?
what vaccine did you have? I'm curious.
We'll have to look at our cards. Like, I couldn't tell you.
Well, it's interesting because like I got COVID and I had barely any symptoms, like a cough. But I was like, oh, COVID.
Okay.
Like away. And I did not feel bad. I just had a cough. And,
I
like,
definitely had it worse than that. They
Yeah,
put me
I
on
had-
Paxlovid though. Like,
Yeah.
immediately.
I had it rough.
I didn't have
Yeah, they
it.
did. I didn't qualify for Paxlovid. I asked and they wouldn't give it to me.
I think this was before they even had.
They did for just people with like asthma or certain
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, there
But,
was no.
I mean,
no
it was awful. A lot of people hospitalized, a lot of people dead. So I don't mean to make light of it.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
I think
This
it's
was
just
post-vaccine.
this is
Like, I
just
had
the
already been
idea. I don't know. Maybe it's just in my self-enforced problem where like I feel like as a mom, like the emotional and physical toll of caregiving never went away.
I mean, it never does, no matter what, whether it's pivoting for change of plans, illness, like that's just kind of a burden in society that we unfortunately face.
But it's not
Thanks,
just with my
patriarchy.
kids. Like there have been moments with work where like maybe I should be better at just like taking the day off. But
Do you have sick time?
in theory, yeah. But like I distinctly remember a time where I had a client call. And then it was the middle of a hurricane, quite literally, like not that bad here, but like on the coast. So it was storming really bad. And then we lost power.
Is it Bonnie?
So then I got my laptop charged and then I was running the Wi-Fi off my phone. But then I got the tornado warning or watch. I forget which one's the one that is like, there's actually a
warning.
tornado
Yeah.
where I got in the closet. And I was still like on the Zoom having an active call with someone, camera off.
Nope.
Casual tornado meeting.
Casual tornado meeting, like huddling under the jackets and just like kept on going. And I think, you know, my kids were also home from school early. So I had to like pick them up early and then put them on the TV for the meeting, but oops, no TV. And I think
'cause no power.
I just threw snacks at her like a rabid animal.
I think my favorite part is you tell me all the time that no is a complete sentence. And you
Other people.
are over here taking a meeting in a tornado in a closet.
I'm no longer with that employer. So, but to be fair, like this is a me problem. It wasn't them.
Yeah.
But I want
You
to
don't take sick days
do
very
it
often.
because I want to do it
ever.
right. And sometimes it's easier to just do it myself.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's easier to push through. Like that's part of my calculation.
But then the people around you never get the opportunity to learn how to fill in.
I will say when I am
Whether it's work or home, like that could go for family as well.
Sure, but
Like,
if that person is not equipped and enabled to tag in right away, then you're doing like
that is
at
a
work-
whole nother conversation.
Right, 'cause then you
We're
gotta,
gonna have to debrief
teach
on.
them in
I
the
also
moment.
feel
I
like
don't
I
got the time and
stress.
energy.
Like I have such ownership. Like I really care about the work.
Let it go. Let it go. I'm just saying that. Luckily, when I'm sick, like I fully take it. Like when it comes to like our
Let's do a close up of Tanya's face when you said wait.
when it comes to like if I'm like sick, like really sick.
Define really
I don't
sick
agree.
because
definition of really sick.
is different.
you've
When I
been
can't get
You'll
out of
send us a
bed.
message and be like,
Okay,
I'm
can't-
so sorry. I'm gonna be fine for tonight, but like I can only stay horizontal and I can't keep food down and I haven't eaten anything but ramen noodles for 2 weeks, but it'd be fine.
But like that's not really sick.
This is our point.
Like
Thank
when
you for
that's
making
your
our point.
threshold.
when
Like
I can't get out of bed sick. Like,
Physically
like
can't get out of bed.
physically when I'm physically
Bitch,
unable.
you were working 5 days after full abdominal surgery and high as a kite.
she tried. She
Could
tried.
not get out.
And you were saying I shouldn't have
in
done
bed.
this.
Could not get out of bed, and you were working.
Thank
full
you.
days.
She only tried. We got like an uninhibited view of like this was a bad idea, guys.
Yeah, I tried and I failed.
Okay,
Like
and
Gracefully.
then you let it go.
But the
Okay,
thing is
okay.
that like I didn't know ahead of time how bad I would feel.
You knew in that moment, and you still tried.
in
I
that
tried.
moment, yeah.
In that moment, you knew how your body was feeling and mentally how you were feeling, and you still tried. That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
But she had never had that combination before, of feeling that exact way, like on a business day, having to like work.
This is not to throw shade at any one
Yeah.
individual.
Totally hear
it's
you.
the fact that all of us have found ourselves in these moments
100%.
where 1,000% should not be pushing through
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it is we're pushing through.
I mean, that
And
was
we
me last week at
still
work. I should have been
do.
packing and doing
Yeah.
other stuff, but like I had a work deadline and Bob's up my ass. Like,
Right.
we have a deadline of going somewhere. I'm like, but the other deadline.
I
So,
feel like it's
yeah.
almost worse as a remote employee. Maybe that's just me,
I
but I feel like
agree.
Yeah.
I don't take for granted that I can work from home. And it's really important to me that they know I'm active and efficient and online. And I don't want to ever give the perception that like I can't do my job from home.
Yeah.
But if I was going into an office, I
I'd
probably
never
would be like, I'm sorry, guys. I like have pink eye. I literally can't go into the office.
Yeah.
But I can work from home. Right. So
Yeah, I
I
feel
think
like
the line
the
gets a little
home
more blurry.
Is a little bit of a blessing and a curse, right?
For
like
sure.
Yep.
it inhibits boundaries in a way, right? If you don't maintain those boundaries, if you would have called out sick, if you had to go into work because you had pink eye, but you still work from home and you have pink eye and you're hurting, because pink eye hurts, right? Like for that particular example, but you still work and push through because you work from home. I think that is an example of an unhealthy or a boundary not being maintained that probably should be.
But like how long do you maintain that boundary? Like for instance, I have been having bowel issues.
Okay, wait. We need disclaimer for anyone sensitive about bowel issues.
Don't listen to
We
me.
don't need to get specific.
But I've had bowel issues for like a month
Since Mexico.
for like a month straight.
You brought a
Okay.
friend home from Mexico.
I
in your
probably
belly.
have a parasite. Okay. At this point. But I'm still working. I literally am visiting the bathroom in my home office quite frequently, but
Yep.
have the ability to like on a call, not be on
Yeah.
video, mute that shit, go do my thing, come right back.
Right.
Like-
And you can't take a month off necessarily either.
and I can't take like a month
No.
off. Like it's never
As long as you're not taking the computer into the bathroom with you.
well,
Please don't, because
That's
one of these
what
days
phones
it's
are
just
for.
like my
Oh,
camera's
guilty.
on.
like it's
No.
the camera's not on.
But it
I'm,
could
I'm
always
guilty
slide
of
the
doing
thing.
that like on my phone sometimes too.
Yeah.
I didn't know this episode was going to
moments.
stress me out so much. I feel like I'm getting heated.
Oh, no.
Stories of working from home. Yes, if I had to like take a massive poop and I'm on
Aren't
a
you
call,
Also, the woman who was presenting on stage and excused herself, vomited, and came back to like present in front of 200 people.
yeah, was
Yeah, you were
Like,
pregnant.
what are you going to do? Take 9 months off? I literally puked every day for 9 months.
Did you tell them like what happened?
Oh, everybody knew. I came back and was like, put my mic back on and continued the presentation.
I think in
Like-
some settings, women in particular are celebrated for over functioning like that.
I think you're right. Like,
But isn't that a problem?
Oh,
It is.
Oh no! It's
sure.
I don't say that like it's a like yay us. Like I think it's a huge problem that there's this societal expectation that women overfunction. We're martyrs. We burn ourselves out to serve everyone else and caregive.
You get that badge of
else.
honor.
But you know what? I was
Right,
promoted
exactly.
after that.
Right. So like you got paid, but
But like my whole point is that like I suffered through being sick, so sick of pregnancy, working in an office. This was all pre-COVID when there wasn't even like a work from home option, right? Working in the office, got so sick and like literally got promoted. And I remember and they were like, because you're so dedicated, because you like show up every time.
yeah, you got rewarded with more work.
Yeah, for sure. But like that was the whole thing, right? Like because I pushed through and like I feel like that's a thing my whole life.
Is that a conscious decision for you?
I think my brain is like wired now to be like, if you just push through it, you get a reward at the end.
Dopamine chasing.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to set up some like moments for you or like some experiences where like a plot twist could happen and then we just opt out.
But the thing is,
Just like to know that you can.
but I like it.
You like the plot twist?
no, she likes
You
the,
the
win.
adrenaline.
It's you like to and
Figuring
it was
it
the
out.
same feeling I had of like figuring out the birthday
Right.
party in like 24 hours and I was so proud of myself and then I couldn't function for 4 days. Like
Sure. But
'cause
like
my brain literally I used up every brain cell that I had.
Yeah.
now, do
24
I do that
hours.
more often than I probably should? Yes. But
This is also why you're in therapy.
oh, Abigail.
Oh,
I was about to
Abigail.
say, what would Abigail say about this?
Abigail tells me that if I am happy and the things bring me joy and they're not bringing me stress and anxiety, then
Yeah.
they are fine to do.
Yeah.
Do those things fully tease apart for you?
What do you mean? Like that's all like let's talk about the whole New Hampshire like
What you were just talking about, like the thrill of succeeding, the thrill of like winning.
That brings me
over.
joy.
I
I
know
think
it
that
brings
is
you
the
joy
stress and
while
like
you are
it.
having massive amounts of stress.
You're like a plot
the
twist
same
junkie.
time.
I don't feel
I think
stressed
they are
out.
But what-
enmeshed for you. Is-
When do you not have stress before a win though? Like in any other context, right? You're an
think about
athlete,
the
you're stressed
Olympics.
playing a game. Exactly. That's exactly what I was
That
thinking.
was fun to watch this past summer.
Yeah, like you're
The horse
stressed
race.
as shit, like going out.
called
Oh, the
dressage.
rave horse?
No.
It's called dressage.
Okay,
The
my
rave horse.
favorite is when Snoop Dogg.
I love the rave horse.
Did you hear Snoop Dogg's commentary? on
Yes!
that? When he's like, that horse is crip walking. I
loved it.
Dying. Okay. But my point is that like I am also an adrenaline junkie, right? I've been skydiving. I like,
Yeah, you like the adventure thing.
yeah, like I like that.
So it's like a weighing it out. Like the
Yeah.
win, the high of the win is worth the stress to get there.
Yeah. And I don't even feel stress. I just feel like, and I tell this to my kids all the time, like scared and excited feel a lot alike.
They
So
do.
I will also say, like, just reflecting back on when you went through the whole debacle with the birthday weekend, like we were all singing your praises the whole time you were going through that. Like we were giving you those
I
little
love
badges
it.
of honor.
the one who doesn't
whole
like
time
praise.
you
I
were
know,
going
but I do like the
through.
little praises, you know?
it's interesting to think that like we then upheld
We're feeding it
that
the junkie.
idea that, okay, if you just keep pushing through, then you're going to get positive reinforcement.
100%.
And we were part of the problem.
No, you're part of the feed.
Wow. I hadn't thought about that.
Right? Like
You're right, 'cause none of us said,
were
like, hey, you can go
reinforcing
home,
that
you know.
whole cycle.
I thought it.
I believe that. I totally believe that.
Yeah. No.
Did I not say it? I when I was watching your mark, I was like, I would have just gone home. Like,
Yeah, I don't recall any of us saying it, but to your point, I do recall us like almost
you're
celebrating
the queen
it,
of
like
pivot. Yeah,
because we were so impressed.
Yeah.
and we wanted to pump you up because like
Me up. Here I
telling you
am.
the bad things in that moment wasn't going to be helpful. Right.
So like, but I don't mind the pivots. Like, I don't find as much stress in it than maybe some other people might.
Fair.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Is it a trauma response? Probably. Probably also. Right? Like,
You have found ways to thrive through it, and
Yeah.
that is applaudable.
yeah. And I don't mind it. So in the end, like as mothers, as women,
It could change. Like I've had to change how I talk to myself and then like kind of, I guess, utilize those support systems. Like know when you need to ask for help or delegate because there is no perfect parent or worker and you've got to, I'm telling this to myself because I don't know, right? Like embrace the reality and the imperfection and that's like life is messy.
Take your sick days. Take sick days. I think across the board,
That just reminded me of that
that
song.
is like
wear sunscreen. Like it's just like bottom line.
also wear sunscreen.
Sick days.
I think it's important, especially in today's culture. And you do start to see a shift in this idea where like, I'm going to get paid to do the exact amount of things that I am required to be done and then goodbye. But our generations, right? We span the two, but we've been taught like, you just keep going. You just push through the hustle culture, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to start to shift that mindset and to remind yourself that it's okay to take the sick days.
It's so interesting because I won't take my sick days when I'm physically ill.
No, you take it when
When reputation comes out.
But I take them for my mental sick wellness. Like when I need a
true.
mental.
Like you have
when
separate
Taylor
sick
Swift
days?
albums drop.
I
That's just
actually
how she
do have
defines
separate
them.
sick days.
Okay, so I don't. So to
I
me,
have-
it's vacation, and I'm
No,
tapping.
I
Am I
have-
that sick that I'm giving the vacation
so
day?
technically I have
Tricky.
I have separate sick days,
Yeah, it's nice.
but I have unlimited PTO.
Eh.
So like,
Do they pay you out if you don't use them?
yeah,
The
your
sick days.
You don't really. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, but they don't pay you out your PTO.
Yeah.
So like, I use my sick days for mental health days when
that is
Which are valid.
Yeah.
For sure.
when I like, and by mental health days I mean like
Taylor Swift album
Taylor Swift album
drops.
drops or the new Fourth Wing book is coming out.
Or like your birthday.
Or my birthday.
You take your
Always
birthday
Go to the
take
off
spa.
my
every
birthday
year.
off, right? As a like mental health day, right? A day for me where I'm not doing anything else. So like, but because I work from home, I can physically work when I'm physically ill. And like that to me is not worth the day.
I agree.
So
I don't know. I want to like encourage our listeners to keep going and acknowledge that effort, but I also want to like.
You don't wanna feed the need?
No, I don't want to feed it. I want to be like Tanya and just like recognize when you need to stop. So maybe our listeners can add their own stories of
finding
their
balance.
chaos and how they managed to get through on our social.
Absolutely.
We'll get inspired.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on our future adventures. If you want to stay connected, share your thoughts, you can find us on social media at ShePak Unleashed.
we hope you enjoyed these stories we dived into, full of travel and shit.
Thank you for being a part of our pack.
This is Ashley, Jenny, Nichole, and Tanya signing off. Stay wild and fierce.